Let's see. Hi, welcome, welcome. Can you hear me? I'm gonna wait till my doggo leaves because she doesn't like when I'm talking. But everything should be fine, right? This is the most live I ever got here. Oh, hey, Alchemist! Welcome, welcome. Okay, let's see. There's a bit delay here, it seems for me. Yeah, YouTube is not as fast as Twitch in case of delay, but okay, so that means I will have to wait a little bit until everything is answering because there is like 15-20 minute delay between when I say anything. Yeah, I'm not gonna pull that time. I only read the prelude, the prologue, and I will read the chapter 1 of this amazing little fanfiction. I don't know how long it is. I just loaded it up. It's long. Okay, it's long. I hope 3 hours is enough for it. I hope it's gonna be like 1 hour max at maximum, but we will see. It's Alchemist. Okay, so let me see. Do I have this setting up? Yes, you were the first one. Let me set this up just a little. From the Spanish word argamasa. Material that binds bricks together. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, just a little bit. I know I should have finished this sooner, but I was asleep. And I can't do anything while I'm asleep. And as you saw that, I'm gonna have 1 day delay between each of these, because I still have to record videos before this. And I'm gonna start recording now as well, because obviously we want to record it as well. So, let's see, does this look good to you? Can you read everything? Because this is the biggest I can do. As you can see, I added a little bit of background to it as well. But this is the best I can do for this. There is still a little bit time to change it. And yeah, here comes the delay. This is all the chapter 1. It's gonna be a long read. And a long time failing. Nope, hard to read. Yeah, that's a bit of problem. Okay, let's set this up a little bit better. Try selecting the text. No, it's still a little bit too small. So let me swap. Oh, wait, I can? True. I can. I will need to fix this then, just a little bit. How do I do this? Because now you can see my face. And change the font and colors. I will do that. You can tell me how you want to see it, because this part is definitely just a little bit of setting up. If the contrast was better. Well, I already changed it, but this one, right? Don't worry, I can move myself. And I'm gonna fix this as well. Around here, that should be fine. And now, is it fine? I'm still waiting for everything. Yeah, much better. I can still change the colors if you want. And last time you didn't hear it. But I was this close to the microphone and yeah, that was annoying to edit. To me. Because I cut out most of the breathing parts, but there was still some left out. But everything should be fine, right? It's a great idea. This way we can follow your reading. Okay, I have to check if you can see the last part of the thing, because okay, let me see. Okay, you can see the ending. That's fine. You can see everything. Checking some word you may not know how to pronounce. Do you have a pop filter on your microphone? Yes, I do. I actually do. But I was just too close. That's all. That was all the problem. I actually don't know what kind of tone it will have, this episode. But I guess it's gonna be a little bit of story time, because that's where we ended the prologue. That Starbreeze and her father are gonna go camping, and Skydancer is gonna tell everything. Everything. What is my sound interface? It's USB. It's USB. It's not. It's not the most expensive microphone. Writers on a fanfiction needs more exposure. It is fanfiction. Is it how you pronounce it, right? So give me a second. Maybe this should be fine. There we go. I'm ready to start. Chapter 1. The longing. There is a long start. There's like 12 minutes of me just setting this up. I'm sorry about that, but this was the first one. This was film fiction, as in friendship is magic fiction. Yeah, I knew that part, that it is friendship is magic. But I don't know if it's FIM fiction or film fiction. I think it's, no matter how you pronounce it, it's, everyone knows how it is. But let's start. Skydancer, the first flying unicorn. Yeah, it is a good practice for me. And luckily no one is home. That's why I can stream this time around. And I'm gonna go to work at around 12:40. So afternoon. So I have to finish it by 10. Are you ready, guys? For the first chapter of Skydancer. Well, we already had the prologue, but this is gonna be uncut, unedited version. It is still fanfiction. I'm not used to this huge delay. I usually stream on Twitch, and there is literally no delay there. Oh my god, it's 1:14 AM over there. It's 9 AM here. That's a big difference. Long difference. Yeah, good English, Takeshy. Okay, let's start. Skydancer, the first flying unicorn. Chapter 1. The longing. Starbreeze and her father both landed on the tip of a cliff jutting out from a forested canopy. The tip of this cliff rose about 30 feet above the rest of the landmass behind it before steeply dropping 200 feet beyond it. That cliff overlooked a wide grassy valley dotted with a few lakes and interconnected rivers which shone in the moonlight. While that was an impressive sight wow, that's a hard sentence. While that was an impressive sight in and of itself, that was not what initially took Starbreeze's breath away. It was probably the lack of air, because it was high in the air. There was something special about this point of land. The most tangible sign she could think of was that it had something to do with the wind in this area. It constantly spiraled and howled around here. It was as if the magic of that element was especially intense here. Because she was traveling with her father, at least a part of her suspected it could have been his magic responsible for this, but an instinct within her insisted that it was not the case. This area was naturally like this, and it took Starbreeze's breath away. Then she looked at her father. As entranced as she was, she noticed he was affected far more profoundly. He stood at the edge of the cliff, fearlessly, as he closed his eyes. He stretched on the tip of his hooves as he inhaled deeply. This area seemed to charge him somehow. He drank of it deeply. Take some sip of water every 200 words or so. Yeah, I should. I have coffee right now. I don't have water. But if I'm out of coffee, I will. He drank of it deeply. He looked peaceful, one with his element here. Strawberries also noticed how his long white mane flowed in the wind around here. It blew back and forth, reminding of her of a cloud caught in the breeze. They both stood in silence for several more minutes. As impatient as Strawberries normally felt, she let her father have his moment. For some reason, it was important to him. She just hoped he would eventually explain why this was so important to him. In the meantime, she looked around, realizing this was her first time here. This place already had a special meaning for her. She could already imagine coming back here and telling her own kids. This is where my father took me as we shared a very special moment together. He told me all about his past here. I felt more deeply connected to him than ever before, ever since. It's important to know where you came from, what your family's legacy is, and I, for one, will always think of this place as the place where that bond deepened in a very meaningful way. Bay. Do you hear it, Strawberries? Just a little bit. Oh, there is a change. There we go. Do you hear it, Strawberries? Her father finally asked her, after several long moments of silence. Do you feel it in your coat, your mane, in every breath you take? There is a lot of wind, if that's what you mean. And I have a feeling you are not causing this, she answered. Exactly. The wind. Her father said in a soothing voice. He turned to look at her. His eyes looked peaceful. There was such a serene look of wisdom to them. A look born of deep amounts of experience and passion. He looked at her as if he could see the future spread out of all front of him. For Strawberries, it was deeply enchanting to behold. For her, it was the essence of magic, and she felt lucky that she had such an amazing teacher and somebody to look up to. Some could argue living in the shadow of someone so great, as her father could feel diminishing to one's own potential, but Strawberries always looked at it another way. She saw her father as an example of how great she could be herself someday. He was the measuring stick that she vowed to surpass one day. All she needed to do was how. How did he do it? What trials or tribulations did it take to fulfill his goals? Deep down, she hoped he would say something like, "Oh, it was easy. One day I just woke up and decided to fly then. Poof! It happened. Exactly like magic." Strawberries wasn't really afraid of challenge, but when it came to the most important and deepest hopes, dreams and wishes, one actually also hoped it did not occur too far into the future, or it was too difficult to achieve, or celestial forbid impossible. They don't know the word impossible, Quill. Do they not? I think when I'm gonna scroll the screen, I'm gonna add a little bit of selection to see, so you can see where we are standing right now, and also I can see it as well. But upon looking deep into his eyes, a part of her already knew some of the answers. A pony does not develop such a deep look of wisdom in his eyes without having gone through an insane amount of experience. Whatever he gone through, whatever he had suffered, it ultimately led up to this moment. But just because she knew that story had a happy ending, it did not mean it had a happy beginning, or middle, or maybe even end in a way. Her parents kept on hinting at some kind of duty, and the looks on their eyes suggested it was important. They also talked about regrets of some kind, sometimes. That part frightened Strawberries a bit, but no way did she fear it enough to get up away from this story. She wanted to hear it all. She wanted to hear it all her life, and finally, she was about to get her wish. On her birthday, no less. Somehow, that felt strangely appropriate. Strawberries did not plan that out. Strawberries did not plan that out deliberately, but hey, she would take what she could get. You see it, don't you? Her father gasped with the same wise look in his eyes. A hint, a glimmer of the tale that you are about to hear. I guess. Strawberries replied with a slight shrug. To be honest, I'm rather excited and I can't wait for you to get on with it. Patience. Her father cautioned. All things in due time. For now, he looked over the cliff. Drink in the atmosphere. Don't just stand back there either. Come up and join me. You are Pegasus. You should be able to appreciate this in a way not even pony could. Not every pony could. Yeah, I should drink as well. This atmosphere. Yeah, that's a good tip, Alchemist. That's a good tip. Since she was curious, Strawberries obeyed. She stepped up and stood beside her father. In a case, it was nice to stand that close to him, even though she almost surpassed his height already. Strawberries knew from experience that size wasn't everything. Small things could hide other big things. He might be small, but he was powerful. He was just about the finest flyer she had ever seen in Equestria as well. There were special reasons for that too. It was not every day a unicorn got a cutie mark for flying. Reminded of that, she glanced back at his cutie mark for a moment. And this is the moment where we actually find out what his cutie mark is. That the thing I was asking Quill for the drawing. I usually imagine her father with a softer voice, but you can do it any way you want. Softer? He is short and small. I don't know if I can do a soft voice, but reminded of that, she glanced back at his cutie mark for a moment. She studied it, admired it, and contemplated its deeper meaning. What could it mean? It might have multiple levels of meaning, not just the obvious on the surface. In considering point, she also considered the pony standing beside her. Based on everything she knew about him, how could a cutie mark like that best represent the pony standing beside her? How did it all fit together? That must happen with for self-validation. The less of the mass, the better. That's true. And we will have a stopping point soon. Oh god, how do I do a softer voice for him? I don't know. I see. You regarded my cutie mark. Her father stared off-hoofedly, without ever glancing at her. One could only wonder how he noticed looking at him in the first place. His gaze seemed fixed in the outward environment instead. Maybe he could even see through the wind, she wondered. Before she'd dwelt on that point for too long, he went to say, "Of course, that's part of my story. Just as it would be for any pony who gets such a mark. But there is no such more meaning behind it as it would be for any pony. I was fortunate enough to learn the meaning behind that at a very early age, and I teach you what I know too, so you don't have to go through all the problems I did. Celestia knows you will have enough problems on your own hooves as it is for now. Oh god. Celestia knows you will have enough problems on your own hooves as it is for now. I will talk about all the bases I covered so you don't have to repeat the same lessons that I went through." That's a long sentence. Well, not unless you want to. He looked at his daughter to his left. "Of course, you don't have your own kitty mark yet, and that's fine too. I was like that one time, and I guess I can say that's where my story truly begins. Begins at the beginning. As it were." As it were. Yeah, it begins at the beginning. Everything begins at the beginning, right? He chuckled a bit as he glanced away again. XOXO, you can see that XOXO buttons here. Right there. I don't have a so Latino voice. I don't think I do. Right. Is this supposed to be told by her father? The end of the beginning. Stars now. No. 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 The end of the beginning. The beginning of the end. Oh god. My name, you know well, as you said it so many times before. Well, that and father, of course. What? Did you also know that I used to be called something else when I was a young foal? I'm smiling because I see the name. This is told by her father, okay. By you. Who is that? Who is talking? Quill! Wake up, you lousy bum! Quill snapped awake, not even realizing he had been asleep, nor did he realize how long he had been asleep. It did not take him long to obsess how embarrassed he was. Oh, it was his father? Okay, his father. Arthur Scroll took Quill's lessons very seriously. More seriously than Quill himself, in fact. Quill's mind was often somewhere else. Get your head out of the clouds and get back to your studies. That's probably not his father's voice, but there you go. Otto insisted. No more daydreaming. I seriously doubt you can resume to your studies in your sleep. If you can, however, then you have something you can teach me. Until then, get your muscle back to your books. Yes, sir. I reckon he is still young at this point. Quill meekly replied, then immediately attempted to do so. His mind and vision were still fogged, however. It made it very difficult to focus on the words. They blurred and flew across the page for a few seconds, and for a brief moment Quill paused to admire that. At least the words themselves could be free to fly, unlike himself. Wait, what? Just a second, let me consume this. That sounds like either the book is magical or he is daydreaming. Yeah, he's way much younger back then. I swear to Celestia, you can be so difficult sometimes. Otto grumbled as the pony with the distinguished red cape headed towards the door. He was dark, but with some white cloud. Why did I read cloud? This fanfic was not designed to be read out loud, like TV script. It's a good book story. Yeah, daydreaming. He was dark, but with some white around certain areas, like around his eyes and the tip of his muzzle. His mane was entire jet black, which was nearly cut neatly and short, like his tail. He had a small goatee on his chin and trim mustache, which both equally suggested that this was a pony who cared very much for neat appearances, and for very good reason. Although this was currently concealed by his cape, Quill knew from experience that his father's cutie mark was an open spellbook that glowed with magical light. My father. There we go, let's put this here. My father, you see, and by extension, your grandfather, of course, was a very distinguished pony. Our family had been for years. He was the head of a royal academy for gifted unicorns in Canterlot. Oh, the Silverhorn Academy. Was it actually called the Silverhorn Academy, or is that just a name that you came up with? I don't recall anyone naming it like that. Those were some pretty big horseshoes to fill. That's precisely why he had such high expectations of me. Looking back at those times, I knew he meant well. He wanted my life to succeed, to be fulfilling the way he envisioned it. Okay. I thought you knew something I didn't. It worked for so many other members of our family across the many generations. We lived in that great city, so there was no particular reason that he should believe that I should be any special exception at the time, but he was wrong about the one thing. He shouldn't have expected too much of me, especially in one fixed direction. A pony's heart and talents could come from anywhere, and be directed anywhere. It does not flourish under tight restrictions. Of course, I couldn't have known that back then either. I was just a little pony at the time. I had no wisdom or experience of my own to contradict the adults I lived with, so I was forced to trust them. If there was something wrong with me, then the problem had to stem from within, I reasoned. I was right, too, but not in the way I originally thought. Nope, pimping. It literally says the school for gifted unicorns, a pun for Charles Xavier, X-Men school. Oh, I didn't read or watch too much X-Men, but I know that. Now I see it. I didn't put 2 and 2 together before, but now I see the connection. But no matter how much I struggled against it, the sky always drew my attention back to it. Something about it always called to me. Despite all logic, despite all reason, deep in my heart I knew I was meant to fly. I just didn't know how I was going to do that yet. His attention drifting, Quill continued to find he could not focus on his studies. In frustration, he gave up, at least for a brief moment. Leaning back in his seat, he looked above his head at the upside-down window behind him. Through that, he saw the great blue skies. He stared at it for a long mesmerized moment enticed with visions of flying through the sky. He could picture it so clearly in his head. He could visualize how it would feel through his mane, or what his surroundings would look like from such height. That's why he grew his mane out, to feel the wind. And also, he is an absolute protagonist, because he is watching out of the window, looking at the sky and the clouds. Just like everyone, every anime protagonist. There we go. It cannot be left out. He stared at it for so long. His neck started to hurt from this perspective, so he opted to fix that by staring back at it a better way. He leaned forward in his seat again, and then wheeled it about. Wait, it's a wheelchair? He leaned forward in his seat again, then wheeled it about to look out at the sky properly this time. Part of him continued to feel surprised that his father did not lock that window down yet. Had connected with main plus wind. It was awesome. He supposed it had something to do with the ventilation through the manor. That was important too, but one could accomplish the same thing with just a small pipe to the wall. But such thing would not permit such fantastic view. We like windows. We love windows. They let in light. Also, ponies don't have artificial lighting. They have, but they don't have electricity. That's what I want to say. And natural lighting is much better than artificial lighting. So, of course, they are not blocking down the windows. Not a wheelchair, more like a computer chair, like yours. It's a... that's what I meant to say in a wheelchair. I didn't... Oh yeah, it's different in English. A wheelchair is... Okay. I know what you mean. I meant like the computer chair. It's my bad. I'm sorry. That would make this even darker if it was a wheelchair. That he couldn't even walk, but he dreamt of flying. It's a bit anthropomorphic. Ponies would not really use chairs. Not all of them. Like but it's a fiction, so we will allow it. Quill continued to stare out the window for quite a while, longing tearing at his heart. What's wrong with me? He asked himself. Why do I yearn for this? I must be crazy. This wish of mine brought us suicidal, and it's scary to contemplate how attractive that idea actually is if I never get even the remotest hint of my wish being granted. As every pony keeps telling me, however, if unicorns were meant to fly, they would be burned Pegasus instead. Cheh, it's not fair, it's just not fair. Of course, it can in theory be all just likely for Pegasus to wish it had been born a unicorn instead. I haven't actually observed one showing any sign of that yet. It all makes me feel like I'm the only one contemplating such thoughts. No, you are not the only one. Both sides have their advantages, of course, but I don't care. I know what I want. I know what I feel. I don't care how ridiculous it seems. Am I meant to fly somehow? I am meant to fly somehow. The seats in the ice cream shop, the pop seats, right? Which don't have the back on them, it's just a seat. That's what you mean, right? Yeah, we can allow that. It could be any kind of seat. If you can sit in it, that's fine by me. if you can put your ass on it. At the heart of it, I always knew one thing. One thing that the sky always represented for me. And that... What? One thing that the sky always represented for me, and that thing is freedom. Freedom to move in any direction I choose. Freedom to be who I always felt I needed to be. How can I discover my destiny? However, when every pony around me was always telling me I was wrong. That there was something wrong with me. A fool cannot easily defend him or herself from something like that. Not without a reliable experience of their own to contradict the others and defend their own opinions. Funny, Pegasus are capable of casting complex spells just like unicorns. Cannot give details because of spoilers. Oh yes, Cresco, which chapter has the spoilers? I forgot. I know it's not the first two, but I remember you saying one of the chapters have spoilers for season 8. And I'm not there yet. But there was one outlet I had my feelings back then. I felt hollow next to the real thing, but at the time, it was the best I had. I knew I had to express myself somehow, some way. Chapter 21. Okay, that's a long time ago. As soon as I will get to episode 11 before that. I'm sure about that. And it was a secret. A secret because he knew his father would never approve of it. Well, scratch that. In a way, he would approve. He would approve of the medium itself, not the content. Quill still knew he had to be cautious. He was sick of his father's judgmental disapproval. And mother would understand. Quill mentally lamented with a remorseful frown on his face. If she were still alive today, she would encourage my gifts, such as they are. Why can't father understand? This is who I am. This is all that I am. Quill's mother is dead. Only living with his father who is strict, trying to teach everything to him. I understand his father as well, that he wants to give everything he can. But maybe if Quill would stand up and say everything, he would understand. But there is this thing that stops him from doing so. The fear of disapproval. I can understand that. With that, Quill finally pulled out his secret after spending another moment to check if the coast was clear. He did not get up, but instead paused for a moment to simply listen for any sound outside of his door. After noticing for a long moment all seemed quiet out there, he finally pulled out his secret and studied it for a little while. Not only did he contemplate its deeper meaning and emotions behind the words, but also contemplated how he could have worded it better. How could we word it better? I don't know the word contemplated. I actually don't know the word contemplated. So, just a second. You can see my translate, that's fine. Oh, wish, okay. Wishes, that's what it needs. Wished. To think deeply, to wish, yeah, okay. Now I understand. I thought it would be something like that, but I didn't know the exact meaning of it. Until he got interrupted from his train of thoughts. There you are! Somebody sat behind him. Catching him in the act of doing something naughty, Quill was greatly startled. After all, he was so certain the coast was clear a moment ago. But if the sound came from behind him, then there was really one logical conclusion. Nevertheless, Quill instantly snapped his shipwreck project back into a pile of scrolls before he wheeled about in his chair and tried his best to pretend he wasn't hiding anything important. His racing heart and beads of sweat must have been a dead giveaway, however. Either that or the person behind him was studying him for a wild secret. It's too late. If somebody is behind you, you can't just press Alt Tab. It's not gonna work. They will see you are watching porn. I'm just kidding. In truth, the Pegasus the Pegasus. I did the fanfic like a TV episode script, so Takeshy can select the correct voice. The name of the character goes. No, that's fine. That's fine. It would probably lose the point of interest. So, who it can be? It's probably not his father because it's a Pegasus. In truth, the Pegasus behind him was not much older than himself. Young enough to be rightly called a fool, although just barely. Stormwing was indeed older, but not by much. She flew into the window, of course. The uncalled brutes. Seeing her brown eyes and brown coat, which gradually shifted to black at the tips of her wings. Okay, that's the mother. Mane, tail, and hooves was not entirely an unwelcome sight. More than not, Quill personally considered her uninvited visits a secret welcome break from studies. If his father barged at that moment, at least, this time he had a better excuse why he was not studying. A proper gentle pony always shows courtesy to his guests, after all, even the uninvited ones. Typically, Stormwing was far more welcome than Quill openly let on, but somehow he suspects she knew that. Maybe that's why she kept on dropping by those unannounced visits. Yeah, I noticed at the last second, but the line here doesn't say anything. And it's right here that we learn that she is a filly. But it's good for a book right now. This is not made to be read out loud. We know that. We secretly envisioned her freedom on multiple levels. Not only could she fly, because she was a Pegasus and pretty good for her age, he might add, but she was also less restricted by the rules of high society, unlike him. There were rules and protocols that Quill had to use all the time in order to be proper. Quill could secretly care less about such things, except it did not matter to him what his father thought of him. It did matter to him. It didn't. The double negative. As much as it hurt him, Quill did care about the opinions of his father, but he also cared about the opinions of ponies, like Stormwing as well. Come to think of it, he actually cared about the opinions of most of the ponies he knew in general. He suddenly realized how self-conscious he felt about that. While usually he felt his friend was a welcome break, that moment was different. At that moment, he was drawing up a secret and did not want to be caught. He sweated like crazy in fear that she would bring it up. And so, of course, she did bring it up. What else could I expect from Mylok at the time? Oh, that was his father. You would probably want to add some exclamation marks here, or whatever they called, quote marks. So we know that it's in the present when his father is telling about this. And so, of course, she did bring it up. What else could I expect of my luck at the time? What you reading? Stamming asked curiously as she flipped up further into the room and onto the Quill's bed. This is still a flashback of the cutie mark day of the father of the protagonist. It is basically the father is telling the story to her child, and we are sometimes popping back into the present, like here, when we hear the father's voice as a narrator. But sometimes we go back to the past when we see the story. Used to have marks like that, but the others told me to take it out. Huh. I don't know. I feel like you don't need quote marks, you need something to show that it is the present. This part is the present, because this part is the past, there is one line that is the present, and there is one line that is the past again. That's why Argamis was confused for a moment as well. She flopped on it for a moment as her weight fully stepped upon the thing. Great wealth had its advantages, but it was difficult to fully appreciate that, knowing how well society normally lived. There were stories here and there. Quill occasionally heard from others, like Storm being here, that there were some ponies so poor they only slept on a straw, or even very dirt ground itself. Oh, you used to do something like that. You used to Kosovo? Oh yeah! Like this. But he's using it for thought processing, right? That's what it usually means. In contrast, Quill's own bed was soft enough to flop on. Stanley probably secretly enjoyed that and took every advantage of it whenever she could. Even then, at that age, Quill realized he might be reading too much into the situation, but probably not. Education had its advantages too. It typically kept the pony in the know more than most others are. Oh, nothing. By Celestial, sounds so insincere, even to my own ears. I just hope she didn't notice. If it's italic, it's a thought. Yep. But in the past. This is Mom we are talking about. I was pretty Starbreeze with a roll of her eyes. Wait. Okay. I thought it was the father again. I'm sorry. This is Mom we are talking about. Exasperated Starbreeze with a roll of her eyes. Of course she would notice. Back in the present. Starbreeze's father gave her daughter a narrow stare for that comment and was silent for a few moments, and then rolled his eyes as he looked out further as he resumed. Anyhow... Maybe changing the size? still at all, but in the future. Yeah, this is gonna be a lot of jumping between storylines because this is a story over story at this moment. And now you spoiled me that there is gonna be a future episode as well. Well, I could have guessed it by the moment the description said it's Doctor Who is about to be in this. But yeah. What do you mean nothing? I saw your stuff skull in your, well, another pile of skulls just a moment ago. Sterling pointed out. I can't even see it still. It's right there. She tried to pointed it from her position. No, I don't see any skull. Quill suddenly replied while looking at the little pile of skulls on his desk. Okay, so this one is a secret then. Sterling realized. Now I got to see this one. No! Quill cried out defiantly. Give it here. Sterling sat back as she rolled forward and reached into the pile of skulls. She was even quick enough to snatch the correct one, but as she pulled back, it suddenly glowed with silver energy and acted in vain to be pulled away telekinetically. That was clearly Quill's magical aura signature, which was invisible. If she didn't know that already, then his silver glowing horn would have been another dead giveaway. Clearly, he was trying to defend this secret, which made her all the more stubborn on this point. But whatever secret this was, it has to be juicy. Give it! Sterling insisted as she yanked back on the scroll. They are gonna tear the scroll away. I can tell it. I can say it already. Magical auras are invisible! Yeah! Not unless you are not actually worked on it. And it's fiction. In this world, they are not invisible. Yeah, we just had a speech about it in the last episode, right, Argamis? That magical auras are invisible. And you had a very good moment of that. I mean, he could also cast an elimination spell for extra concentration and effort of dual casting. Why? I don't know. Maybe he is not actually worked on magic too well, and he actually didn't know that he can cast telekinetic spell without using illumination as well. Maybe that's how he was learning it. To actually show his father that he is trying. Who knows? This is an alternate universe. Yep. There we go. But yeah, I have a feeling it would have been fun if there would have been different scrolls there, and one of them would be a scroll which depicts Stormwing herself, and she grabbed that one instead of the real secret one. That would have been hilarious, but no, it's it's the real one. It stated that she is grabbing the correct one. No! Quill cried out. Give it! No, that is Stormwing! You will rip it! No, you will rip it. Let you go! That you let go! I'm not letting go, trust me! Well, you just let me! She shuddered between yanks and pulls. Finally Quill relented, and Stormwing ended up reeling back unsteadily for a moment as she then fought to recover her own balance. She had to lean against his pull for a moment until it was suddenly not there. A quick back flap of wings helped her give a counter thrust. She ended up blowing Quill's covers off. She ended up all her covers. Yeah, she ended up blowing Quill's covers off his bed and into the wall against it on one side. Her butt landed on the bed with a few bounces, Each bounced less than the last until it stopped. Right at Fatcon that his teacher of magic wanted to know how he was making his spells, so he just practiced them, always giving them a visible glow. Yeah, I think every pony should do that, every unicorn should do that, that when there are multiple unicorns, they can show that I am the one doing the spell right now. Finally, now let's see this secret and forbidden scroll of mysteries that got you so worked up. Stirring satisfaction, and then unrolled the scroll to read it. She glanced above it for a brief second, however, when she noticed her friend covering his face in embarrassment. It's so strange that I see myself like 20 seconds ago. It's so strange that YouTube still has this huge delay. It's not finished, Quill finally admitted. And you can tell anybody about that scroll, especially my father. He would destroy it in a second. I just know it. What? Sterling squinted one eye in confusion at Quill. But why? You wrote this, didn't you? I thought he wanted you to be a writer like him. Exactly. Quill snapped at her sharply. A writer like him. Huh? Sterling cocked her head. I don't understand. You might, if you just read it. Quill invited. Oh, she didn't read it. She just looked at it. Oh, it's a reading. You wrote it. At that moment, it suddenly occurred to him that it could be his advantage to have a second opinion. And unlike his father, Sterling was very unlikely to destroy the scroll after the very read-through. Rips the scroll instantly. Oh yeah, I forgot. They are not ripping the scroll. Maybe she's used. Wait. How was she holding it? She was holding it with her mouse, I guess, because she used her wings to flap and stop from falling onto her butt. But now she's probably holding it with her wings to read it. Or maybe just put it on the ground. Quill never got feedback on his work before. Yes, the scholastic stuff he did, but never something like this. Never something this personal to him before. Quill grew curious what her opinion might be, but at the same time he was very nervous. What if she didn't like it? What if she thought he was stupid and dumb for writing it? No. Why would any pony or anyone think of that? She might chuckle a little bit, but that's nothing. What if she ridiculed his dream? In the story, ponies can hold stuff with their hooves. More explanation about that in the next chapter. Suction hooves! Yay! They are approved! I remember thinking was in awe about the glossy paper without reading the note itself. Yeah, I remember that as well. What if she ridiculed his dream? As curious as he was, he knew she gained the power to crush his heart in her very hooves. Even if it was unlikely that she would, that feeling of vulnerability almost made him panic anyway. He had to struggle very hard to keep his cool. That's one way high society training came in hoofy. Hoofy? That's a new word! I know what it means, but it's the first time I heard it. Hoofy. It's not handy, it's hoofy. I like it. At least they tried to teach young foals how to remain cool under the pressure. And he had to admit, those skills came in hoofy sometimes. Times like this. Also, I hope you can't hear that because, oh god. No, the stupid trash collectors are outside and they are making a lot of noise. You are not hearing it yet, but you will soon when they reach the window. Because they are going right under me. Finally, Stormwing looked over at school, pausing to read the title at the top first. Skydancer? The first flying unicorn? Right after reading that, she gave Quill really? A praised eyebrow look. Please go easy on me! Quill signaled back desperately in his mind. It's my first work. I get better at it, I promise. Just don't destroy me before I get a chance to. How who works? Alternative. Can I? Let's do it. Do you see it? Probably not. Kinda. Kinda you can see it. It's the same, or it's not the same, but you showed something similar to this before. I wonder how ponies grab items without using horns or teeth, especially the moment when Applejack grabbed her head. Here's how. Rest the clear on main bone. Grants better resistance against breaks and keeps broken bone in pace. Main grip mechanism, muscle hair like grippers, ending with elastic hooks. Oh, that's creepy. That's creepy. No, 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 no. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Long grippers muscles allow for stronger grip and bigger range extent. This part I don't like. No. No. It works even better with some weird examples, like rightly punctured the center of the hoof in Takeshy the Alicorn Amulet Temple. Oh, that was a long time ago. I don't like it. I can see it happening, but I don't like it. Stormwing read aloud. Oh god. Oh yeah, of little earth. Oh, I mock thee from high and yonder. My peace is but rain upon the fertile soil. What? You seem so small to my eyes. The whole world shrinks as I fly. Vast blue skies stretch out before me, endless. Oceans of white, puffy clouds melt before me. They make good pillows, I think. I feel my stomach churn as I descend rapidly. And I ascend. As I ascend, every day I'm grateful for my freedom. This ultimate freedom. They used to mock me, a unicorn, dancing in the skies. If unicorns were meant to fly, they would burn Pegasi, they said. But I can fly. My magic is my wings. Magic is my wings. Passion is the wind beneath my wings. With every breath I draw, I know I'm one with the sky. No matter the turn, these matters are fully retracted, or extended just a bit to grab things. They are like cat claws, right? For some reason, this part right here reminds me of Doki Doki Literature Club. If you have played it, you know what I'm talking about. If not, You don't wanna know what I'm talking about. And I hope it's not going there. I'm not gonna tell you more because of spoilers. Storming slowly lowered the scroll, with a stunned look in her eyes. At first, Quill missed that because he had shut his own eyes, squinting tightly as if bracing for a painful impact. Slowly, he squinted his eyes just barely to open to observe her reaction. What he saw gave him more confidence to open his eyes further, but still, he was curious. He was curious even if his fear somewhat subsided. Yeah, I didn't say anything, guys. It is basically in the description, so it's not a spoiler. Well? Quill prompted after a long moment of silence. Quill, this is amazing! You wrote this, really? Storming asked doubtfully. Yes. Quill replied simply. Really? Yes. You? Yes. At your age? Yes. No, we are not doing that. That's so hard to believe? Quill checked. This is my first work. It can't be that good. Storming suddenly looked doubly shocked. Her eyes almost looked like they were to explode from her eye sockets. Really? Your first work? That was supposed to be yelling, right? Because that's in bold for some reason. What was the age of Quill at this point? That's a good question. He was a young filly, so it... We actually don't know how ponies age, do we? Or at least ponies in this universe age. I guess he was a teen? Or something like that? And he probably didn't get... Yeah, he didn't get his cutie mark just then. Because this is a tale about how he got his cutie mark and how he got his magic flying. About his sudden emphasis, it is too angry and I will do it in all caps! I'm sorry. But I had to do it. Yes! At this point, Quill was blushing a bit. He didn't really know what to expect, because he had never gotten any feedback before. He braced himself so hard against criticism that he forgot that compliments were also a possibility. At the time, he did not dare to hope for that. I see how much of this is you, actually, Quill. Because this is your first work, isn't it? The unicorns in some alternatives, they never get old and wrinkly. They use magic to look young. Even you don't know how young he is. But the story will have time skip later. That much the readers will know. Yeah, I thought that there will be time skips. There would be a lot of time skips. I would like your opinion on something in particular. Quill tentatively. How do you say that word? How do you say that word? I'm gonna check.
Tentatively.
Yeah, tentatively. Okay, it's kinda like that. And yes, this is before he got his cutie mark. And this is your first published story. Oh, you wrote 12 books before it. Oh, I could just do this. I'm sorry.
I would like your opinion on something in particular, Quill.
But no, I'm not gonna do that. And this is a new thing they added to film fiction, isn't it? That there is a reading out loud option. Tentatively. Tentatively? No, there is one extra. Tentatively. There is the "te" right there. You are actually a Pegasus. That astute observation dispelled the charm she felt in an instant. Right after she narrowed her eyes at him and said, "Gee, thanks for noticing. Personally, I thought the wings were that giveaway." it's like as he said, "Oh, you are a girl. Gee, thanks for noticing." They had it a year ago. They had? I didn't notice it because when I first checked it, first read the prologue, I didn't find it. At least it wasn't shown here. When I did this, it didn't have the read option. At least they definitely had a new aesthetic for the site. It's fine. It's looking nice. My point is, you can fly, Quill went on. Starting curious to see where this was going. Go on, she bade. Well, pretty well, actually, for, you know, your age. Quill said nervously. Ah, thanks, Starling said brightly. That compliment honestly cheered her right back up. After reading that poem, I have to wonder, Sternwing. Will looked squarely in her eyes. Is that what it actually feels like to, you know, to fly? Does that poem convey those feelings adequately enough? Do you think somebody who's never done it before would get an accurate idea of what it's like based on the words of this poem? We can try it out. We can just shoot you out of a catapult and see how well you can fly. To get the reading, you have to click the task. Yeah, I know. But it's much more easily accessible now. That's what I mean by that. Starling looked back at the poem, and even read through it several more times before she looked back at Quill, with one hoof, the left in his case lightly touching her lips, while the other hoof continued to hold the scroll. There it is. There is the question I was asking. Now here's the answer for it. That she is holding it in one hoof. She paused for a few more moments, as she digested the words and feelings it conveyed very carefully because she wanted to give an honest opinion. Eventually she replied, "But I would have expected considering it was written by an actual unicorn and a young one at that. If I didn't know better, I would have said it was written by somebody who could actually flew before." We looked immensely relieved. Oh good, that's the feeling I wanted to express in that poem. I mean, you even got some of the finer details right, Starling said in amazement as she looked back at the scroll. Seen from high above, the world does shrink. Every plant, building, bug and critter shrinks until there is nothing left. You can see it if you fly high enough. You can see it if you fly high enough? Oh, you can see them. Okay, I think them would be better here. You can see it if you fly high enough. All that is left is the sky. Is it a paper or parchment or a scroll? It's probably a scroll because he hid it between his other scrolls. So I guess it is a parchment? I guess it's a scroll, so basically, let me say it like that. She holds it like this. I'm not gonna show this, by the way. That's all there is to it. You just have to hold the end of it, and it keeps flat. Right? That's what you mean. It's a scroll likely made of parchment. Oh, there's again the delay. I'm just now I'm seeing myself going and grabbing the scroll. Sterling looked off to her side and out the window, staring at the sky in particular. If you really hold it in the with a single hoof, it would bend on the sides, unless it's thick and sturdy. They can put a stick on it at the end, or something like that, to hold it together. They usually do that with skulls. But yeah, now I remember in multiple universe they just have it as a parchment and there is no thickening at the end. This music is actually from Phoenix Wright. It is Reminiscence Gas Edged by Flame. I usually do use Phoenix Wright music because it's, well, not copyrighted. It is, but it's not caught up by copyright. It's a loop. Maybe some variation, yeah? Probably next time I will have another music, but that's why I didn't know what kind of thing I will be reading right now. So I had to just grab one real fast. I chose this in the last 5 seconds, by the way. Stanwig looked off to her side and out the window, staring at the sky in particular. Eventually she admitted. Truth to be told, however, I haven't analyzed it to the level of detail before. The sky is just, it's like the ground to me. Oh, she is saying that. Truth to be told, however, I haven't analyzed it to this level of detail before. The sky is just, well, it's like the ground to me. It's like water is to a fish. It's nothing special. It just is. Is it really? Well, no, I think they would still like the sky even if they are Pegasus. Nothing special? Quill looked taken aback. Are you serious? Yes. Sturming gave a very sincere look back at Quill. The sky was always there for me. The sky was always there for me. I never considered what it would be like to be without it. Well, I used to know, to a point, what it was like. I was born with the ability to fly. It is just something I learned over time. It was a thrill for the first few years, but after that it gradually shifted to a routine. But this, she looked back at the skull. This reminds me of what it was like when I still looked up upon the sky, like it still had some special charm left in it. Next to this, I feel like I have taken the sky for granted, but this poem helped me to recapture some of those earlier feelings and fall like wonder. The dramatic part begins here. Sterling closed her eyes and hugged the skull to her stomach. You're giving me back something precious that I had lost until today, Quill. I can honestly say this is the best work I've ever seen. Ah, shucks, Quill said with a blushing glow. After a few seconds of silence, Sturmwind, I always want to say Wind, but it's Wing. Sturmwind suddenly popped in a few more comments. But I do have a few more opinions about this poem, especially about the beginning parts. Let's see. She read it again, then read it out loud. O ye of little earth, how I mock thee from high on wonder, my peace is but a rain upon your fragile soil. you are not... No, please, if you are Pegasus, don't piss while flying. It's not healthy. To the ponies down below. Then she looked back. Oh, Sturmwind grinned at Quill for a second as she said, I especially like that part. She looked back at the scroll as she resumed reading. You seem so small to my eyes. The whole world shrinks as I fly. She rolled up the scroll as she sat thoughtful. Huh. Only after she fully rolled up the scroll did she speak again while shaking the scroll for emphasis. According to this, if I didn't know you better, I would say you had outright contempt for the earth. That you hate trotting upon this fertile soil. He kinda does, doesn't he? Because he is proud of it. Quill's skull shook his head and said, no, that's not how I feel at all. I don't hate the earth, I just resent being stuck on it. Quill's eyes shifted to his left toward his desk. Now the character in this poem, Skydancer, he might feel that way. He might feel contempt for the earth, which facilitates this appreciation of being free from it. Actually, Skydancer is me. He actually took the name later on, okay. Quill looked back at Sturmwind. But that's just the character. It's not how I feel personally as a writer, he's just somebody I made up. I'm just asking for a friend, you know. That's totally the same. And that's another thing. Sturmwind shook the scroll at Quill. Why did you choose the name Skydancer for your main character? Quill paused for a moment as he considered the question, then shrugged. I don't know, it just seemed like a good name for a Pegasus. I guess except in this case it applies to a unicorn for some reason. Maybe he was born with it, or maybe he changed his name to it after he learned he could fly. He could really fly. Point is, it flows with the narrative of the story. I wanted the name that expresses how the character felt about his situation. He is Skydancer because he dances in the skies. It's as simple as that. I like how meta this story is. This is off the charts meta. Quill is writing about Skydancer who is himself in the future. Just make 2 plus 2. Moondancer plus nothing. Moondancer equals nothing. No. that is a different word. This is off the charts matter. There is no force war here. At all. Sturmwind squinted her right eye at Quill with suspicion. Are you sure? There really is nothing more to it than that? Quill shook his head with a plain, honest look. No, I swear to you there is nothing more to it than that. Why do you ask? Sturmwind crossed her upper legs across her chest, still holding the scroll in her right hoof. Now that's funny. I mentioned that because I actually knew a Pegasus named Skydancer. I was just wondering if you were secretly referring to that pony. Really? Quill amused delight. Quill asked in amused delight. No fooling? It is true. That is the definition point. Stormy shook her head as she said, nope. Quill narrowed his eyes at her as he asked, wait a second, how do you know this guy dancer? How do you know he really exists? That's simple. He is my cousin. Stumbling answered. What? Okay. Stumbling is either pulling his leg or this is getting more complicated story than it is, actually. He's lost in the sky. Oh, okay, now I see it. Now I see it. Oh wow! Quill expression popped with surprise. I honestly didn't know that. Kind of a hero of mine, actually. Storming admitted wistfully. Skydancer joined the Wonderbolt reserves. He says he's going to be wonderful someday, and I believe him. Which is convenient for me, actually, because when I join the Wonderbolts myself, I will actually have to have somebody I already there that I personally know and I can talk to. Wait, what? Sabi is interrupted her father. Oh, it's back to the present again. Wait, what? Sabi is interrupted her father in surprise. Hold on! Back up a second! You were the one who just joined the Wonderbolts, or at least a member of the cadets. Since when did Mom also want to join as well? Her father paused with a quizzical look on his face for a moment, before he looked at his daughter and asked her, why does that surprise you? Have you met your mom? This is how I met your mother. Wait, let me rephrase that. Her father paused in thought for a moment, then explained. Just about every Pegasus with wings wanted to join the Wonderbolts, especially while they are young. The Wonderbolts are an amazing spectacle, and they are very inspirational about it. That was the primary point of it, when it was originally founded. Within it showcases Pegasus' flying skills at their best. What fool wouldn't look up to the sky at them and think of themselves? That could be me someday. That feeling of being admired. A fool would yearn for that feeling to be shared right back at them because it makes them feel more secure and appreciated. To say your mother wanted to join the Wonderbolts shouldn't surprise you, because just about every Pegasus dreams of it. Moreover, your mother actually had some potential in her. She is a very strong flyer. Yeah, but she's nowhere near as strong as, or fast as, or as maneuverable as you are, Starbreeze argued. Not many would be, that's true, but I'm a special case, her father pointed out. I can use my magic to connect with the wind and the sky in a way that few other Pegasi can, and certainly not as directly. My strategy also had some disadvantages to it as I would later find out. Yeah, sorry, just a second, I still have some coffee left. And I have to talk about this because I have a feeling that his father is actually, as he said, he's using the wind in the sky. So if there is no wind, the sky is clear and there are no winds whatsoever. He cannot fly. He cannot fly at all when there is no wind. He's gliding. That's different. As he was shown in the first episode, the prologue. that he is gliding using the winds, and the differences between the temperature in the sky. That's what I want to say right here. Am I getting close to the truth? He is gonna get in some position there where he is not gonna be able to fly because there is no wind. Or maybe in a enclosed space where there are no moving of the air. He cannot fly out as well. But maybe he can summon wind. Maybe he can do that later on. Is that why you did not fully make it to the boards? Strawberry asked little shyly. There is a prologue? I must have... No, there was no live stream there. It's up on the channel right now. It was an edited video. It was a long editing video. But yes, there is a prologue. It's up on the channel. You can check it out later on. Her father sighed as he faced the direction of the cliffs and closed his eyes. After a moment he bowed his head, then he spoke. The truth is, there were many reasons I did not make it to the boards. Part of it had to do with my own limitations, and other parts, well, He grinned at his daughter and said, no spoilers, I will get to that part later. I don't have wings. I'm not a Pegasus, so I can't be a Wonderboard. Oh, but I want my answer now. Starbase complained foolishly. Foolishly or foolishly? Hush now. You will have to wait. I'm trying to explain to you my mindset at the time. I need you to understand that realizing my destiny and my potential wasn't easy. And why it wasn't easy. Nobody before me had ever done something quite like that, quite like I had. At least, not in recorded history. I was dealing with something I truly thought was impossible to deal with. Since you are facing with a similar situation, you might want to hear me out before you jump to conclusions. Or is that all you wish to do? I can stop my story now and let you just assume the rest if you want. Also, I was used to be learning for a writer, to be a writer. So my story is gonna be long and methodical. So if you don't wanna hear it, you can go now. But it's gonna be long story. It's gonna be weeks long, as I mentioned in the prologue. And there is likely an accident low that basically says no wings, no hooves, no Wonderboard. No hooves? Wait. If you don't have hooves, you can be a Wonderboard? I'm squinting my eyes to see if that's a spoiler or just That's why Silver Stream technically could, but Gallus cannot. No. Starbase panicked. You go on. I'll be a good girl from now on. He grinned at her and said, see that you do. Now, as I was saying, as he thought about it, he realized there was an irony into the situation. As he put his mind back in that time again, he realized he made the same mistake that his daughter just did. Read it. Which part? I actually forgot who is Gallus. Which pony is Gallus? That was a long time ago. I remember the name, but I don't know what it is. Let me see. Oh! It's not a pony. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Makes sense. Okay. I know. Yeah, he is the he is one of the young six. Is it what you call it, right? The young six? At least that's what I call them. Yep. They didn't say his name a lot of times. Student 6. Okay, that works as well. There we go. Just a change of pace. He realized this is where we go. Okay. As he put his mind back in time again, he realized he made the same mistake that his daughter just did. Actually, back then, I questioned the validity of her statement too. So, few could join the boards, even a reservist. I mean, I thought you would have to win the entire tournaments usually before you are even considered for the boards to reserve. Never mind the boards themselves. Believing she wanted to join boards didn't surprise me, but claiming she actually knew and was related to some pony among the board reserves seemed highly unlikely. Add to that, it was a name I just happened to pick as the main character of my story. The writers call them Young 6. The bronies choose the Student 6. To avoid confusion. The CMC. The CMC is 3 ponies. Or, true, there are more to them now, but the main CMC is 3 ponies. That is pretty funny. Starbreeze agreed with the girlish giggle. I'm not gonna do the girlish giggle for you. I just can't do that. Her father grinned at her for a second, then looked forward again. It actually sounded like something some pony made up. The kind of thing a little foal would actually come up with. Like one foal bragging to another that they happen to be related to some pony important. Then that foal immediately counters with bragging about some pony else that is famous, that they just happen to be related to. Back and forth this debate would continue, when in fact in each case it's just pointless ego trip, and usually outright lie. But indeed, coincidences like that can happen sometimes. Know this, and know this well, my sweet. You actually are related to a member of the Wonderbolts, just like your mother said all these years ago. Not a reservist either. A full-fledged Wonderbolt, but I will get back to that story later. For now, all I say is, everybody forgets about Pepsi and another 2 unnamed fillies in Manhattan. Yeah, that's what I said, that it is actually more than just the 3, but... I call them the founders of CMC. There we go. When we talk about the CMC, we most likely talk about those 3. The founders. Wow, I can't believe you are related to a Wonderbolt reservist? That alone is quite the honor, but... oh, wait. We are back to the past again. It's not... Starbreeze. Wow, I can't believe it. You are related to the Wonderbolt reservist? That alone is quite the honor. Quite an honor. But now you are also telling me it's the name I chose for the character I made up in my story? Freaky. Quill said with wonder. Something occurred to Starbreeze, so after moments of thought, she asked, "Can I show this to Skydancer when I next see him? I think he would get a kick out of it. He would laugh at it." No, not the original. We rejected. However, if you like, I can make you a copy. You can even keep it once I do. Really? Stirring asked cheerfully. Oh, that would be so amazing. Thank you. I wouldn't mind keeping my own copy. She looked down at the scroll. I think even we beggars I need to remind of every once in a while to appreciate the gifts we have. Since 2/3 of our Ponica can do what we can do, it's all the more important to appreciate what we have on behalf of others who can share in our gifts. Of course, the other pony breeds have their own advantages. No pony is without, and we do need each other to work in harmony. She looked back at Quill. You, for example, can cast magic. At one time, your kind was necessary to raise and lower the sun and the moon. Wow! We just had that episode. I heard that was quite difficult, even in groups. Can you imagine what would our world would be like if nobody could do that? What a coincidence! We just had that episode about that suitor. Not a pleasant thought, to be sure, Quill agreed. Storming narrowed her eyes slightly at Quill as she said, Then you too should learn to appreciate the gifts you have on behalf of 2/3 of our population who can do what you can do. You are thereby obligated. It's different one. Obligated to enjoy what you have to the fullest. Unicorns are very useful ponies. Some would argue that they are the most powerful of us, all besides Alicorn, like the princess, of course. Okay, so this is after Luna was sent away and she is still not out of the moon. This is at least we can put where we are in the MLP storyline. We are at the point where Princess Celestia is ruling alone. Besides that, you are very, very special. Let's put it that way. Starming glanced at her left for a second and then back at Quill. Luna is still in the moon. Oh wait, you mentioned it. Okay. I'm stupid. I forgot that Luna is still back in the moon. It was described earlier. You know, technically, it's possible for unicorns to mold the sky just like we Pegasychonics, except they have to do it from the ground. Magic can do anything, basically. Let's not undersell it here. Anything, huh? Quill said with wonder. Maybe even fly. The flashback is Return of Nightmare Moon. I assume the story is told after season episode 1? Maybe? Not. Because we see that Luna is still in the moon. We saw that. You didn't read, or at least we didn't watch the I can't speak today. I can't speak today. We didn't watch the first episode. That's what the episode 0. But it has been described that Luna is still on the moon at this point when they are saying this story. So at the present, she is still in the moon. In the past, she is still in the moon as well. Before the full show, okay. That's why it's mostly OCs in this story. I think could cast the weather patterns from the ground. But that was different. That was different. That was very different. Her whole reasoning changed. And her whole talent changed. She just couldn't do it well. Sammy closed her eyes drily. Well, if unicorns ever achieve that, then the rest of my Pegasi are totally obsolete. You guys could control magic and the weather and could fly, then, well, what's next? Go back in time? Oh god, foreshadowing. Change everything in Equestria? Start a brand new Utopia? Or perhaps destroy the one we already have? Those things all happened. Those all happened. Does Ponyville exist? Ponyville should exist, right? Because Ponyville was founded before Canterlot. And Celestia is on the throne, so it should exist. It will answer later in the story. Okay. I'm not saying every unicorn could. If one could, it does not mean they all can. Every pony is different. Quill politely argued. Conversely, every Pegasi can fly. If the unicorn learned to fly, that doesn't exactly unbalance the equation here. If one unicorn learned to fly. Actually, not every Pegasi can fly. Sternwing corrected. We know who you mean. A not mentioned chicken who is not given birth yet, probably. Right, of course. Quill agreed with a drool roll of his eyes. I suppose not the ones with injured wings. No, it's more than that. Sternwing leaned forward. A few Pegasi have what appear to be perfectly functional wings, but they still can't fly. It's rare, but it happens. Will looked confused. Really? How does that work? Sternwing shrugged. No pony knows. Something it might be a psychological imbalance issue. Others think it might have something to do with our magic, or perhaps, in this case, a lack of it. You know, it's funny. I heard if you realize the exact physics of all Pegasi, then technically none of us should be able to fly. We are too heavy, even with lighter bone structure. Conversely, some Pegasi could be a stacked powerhouse of heavy muscle, and yet they can still fly, even if they have tiny wings. I don't know who we are talking about. Yeah! The exact science of it is weird. So most ponies just give up and shrug say, hey, it's magic. Magic explains everything because magic itself defies explanation. Quill grinned in amusement and shook his head. Sternwing yawned and she leaned back into the bed again. Anyway, I wouldn't get too worked up about it. The world works in whatever mysterious way it works. It does not require. Explanation. Oh. It does not require an explanation to continue my work. And these are the parts that I cut out. And we are back to the present again. Dad? Starby said a little timidly. Her father's left eye shifted to look at her as he asked. Yes? I see a little bit of connection that every pony here is liking to shift their left eyes. It's probably a family memento that is probably the left eye. Starby took a few seconds to work up the courage to ask something before she said, based on what you just told me, you once told Mom that you would make a copy of that poem for her. Did you do it? More to the point, does she still have it? The left eye that had looked at his daughter resumed looking forward again as he answered. Yes, I eventually did make her a copy and she still has it to this day. Somewhere, I suppose? You have to ask her where she put it. Your mom has a... She cleared his throat before resumed speaking. Different, shall we say, system of organization. So it's like my system. The genius way of chaos. The organized chaos. He gazed upward towards the sky. Towards the stars. The funny thing is, actually in this way, it's sad that copy had become the new original. Because the true original was destroyed. Oh god, his father really did destroy it. Why is the funny making sense? Wait. So, Quill, just a second. He's looking up towards the sky, towards the stars. In the prologue, they went to sleep to get ready to tell the story. They waited till the night to start the story, to the next day, or they just started so early that it's still nighttime. Discord! No. So I actually thought this is the same night as the prologue. Oh, I thought they went to sleep first. But they started already. Okay. So this is the same night. This was the time I was missing. Ah, that's too bad. Starby says sadly. Then went on to say, good thing you kept your word, then, or you wouldn't have any copy at all. Yes, at the beginning of the chapter says Moonlight. Her father looked down at his daughter as he asked, I take it you want to read it too? Starby looked at her corner face down as she answered, well, maybe? I could find it inspirational, but not in the way you might think. You see, she looked back at her father. I'm kind of interested in writing poetry too. Maybe you could give me some pointers? Oh, really? Her father went back a bit. I didn't know you were interested in writing poetry. Why didn't you tell me? I guess I didn't know until just recently. Starby answered. Sometimes it takes a while to discover all of your interests, you know? Indeed I do. Her father agrees, as he looked down the cliff again. Anyway, sorry for interrupting again. Please continue. Starby bade. Her father grinned at his daughter coyly. I have a feeling you will be doing that a lot more times before I'm done with this story. Yes, I have a feeling she will do that as well. It's a common habit of every young foal to be curious and ask many questions. The world is still new to little ponies like you, after all. You are still exploring it. Know that I won't take offense. We have all been there at one time. Yeah, Starby said with a droll. This part of the thing, I don't like it. The droll roll. it rolls off the tongue, not the eyes. Enough. The roll in itself is enough, I think. With the roll of her eyes. Anyway, as I said, please continue. I'm getting impatient. Her father chuckled at her as he looked forward again. Stamping didn't resist at this time as the silver glow surrounded Quill's poetry scroll and dragged it back to his desk, where he proceeded to hide it again. Promise me you won't tell my father about the scroll, and I will promise I will make you a copy of it as soon as I'm done with it. Quill compromised. Sure, Stormwind agreed, as she put both of her forelegs behind her to study her as she leaned back on the bed. It's too bad you can't be that open with your father. I am with mine, and our relationship greatly benefits from our mutual honesty. I was amazed by this point right there, but yeah, it makes sense. Quill dragged another scroll in front of him and directly unwrapped it. At the same time, he directly lifted the red feather Quill and dipped it in ink, as he studied the scroll for a bit before he started writing down something, as if he was trying to find his place again. Found it, and then resumed writing. As he did so, he said, "It sounds to me like my father and I probably have more delicate relationship with each other compared to you and your father. While I wish I could be more open with him, I know for a fact I just can't. My mother, on the other hoof, would have understood and embraced my interest, but she is dead." Stormwind frowned. "I'm sorry for your loss. She does sound like a sweet lady." Just then Stormwind realized something. What was her name again? Silvershine. Quill answered without looking Stormwind. Oh, appropriate name. I guess I know where he got his magical colors from. She said that while laying on the bed. Wrong ideas pop in my mind. Yeah, I was like, stop writing poems. Stop writing anything. Just draw me like one of your French girls. No. But I can draw. You would laugh at me. Then write a poem about me. She probably thinks about it for a moment in her mind, but she can't say it out loud, obviously. Silvershine? Stormwind echoed. Huh, what a lovely name. A few minutes passed in silence before Quill said, "Listen, Stormwind, it's not that I don't appreciate your unannounced visits, but I do have my studies to catch up on." "Oh, sure." Stormwind rolled forward to the edge of the bed she sat upon. "Guess I will go and resume my game practices too. Too bad you didn't see what I was trying to do. You are like a stupid hentai protagonist right here, and you can't notice when a girl is trying to approach you." "And you just block me with your stupid studies." "Oh, that reminds me. I'm having a big game next week. Sometime." Oh, that's still her? Yep. That was a fanfic of Stormwind inside her mind. Inside this story. Inception. We are getting off meta right now. No, we are not gonna make this into fanfic. At least I'm not gonna do that. We might do some own headcanons about it, but just like we always do with every episode. But I don't think I'm gonna write anything right now. "Oh, that reminds me. I'm having a big game next week, sometime in the middle of it. I know you can play. You don't have the stamina for it, and you don't have the wings besides. I was wondering, however, if you could come to the games anyway to cheer me on." "What kind of games?" "I'm an editor, not a writer." Quill looked forward at the wall behind his desk as he delicately tapped the tip of his red quill upon his lips in thought. "Middle of next week. That would be around Wednesday, right? No, the middle of the week is actually Thursday. Quill? I didn't go, as you are about to shortly find out. But later on, your mother told me she was flattered that I at least considered it very seriously. Yeah, no, rather sometime at that time, Stormwing clarified. A game that the story made up, called Puffball. So they are playing Quidditch, okay. They are playing Quidditch. I'm calling it now. And she said that Quill doesn't have wings, so he can't compete. So it is made for Pegasi. Quill continued to think hard on that offer, greatly tempted to accept. But then he recalled something which made him look down at his desk again in disappointment. No, I just remembered I will be busy next week. Sort of. It has to be played in the sky by flying through the cloud rings and tossing cloud ball. Yep, it's Quidditch. Without this, the golden ball. Yep. More studying? Stormwing guessed dryly. Actually, no. Quill leaned back in his seat and twisted it in a bit Stormwing's direction, as he also looked at her. Visiting family, my uncle, in this case. Okay, so we learned that his seat has a back as well, so it is like an office chair. Hearing that chilled Stormwing a bit. Oh, how nice! It's always good to see family members once in a while. Then she recalled something that made the situation confusing. Wait a second, didn't you tell me your father hated his brother? Hated is probably too strong of a word. Quill answered back. Disappointed is more to the mark. Quill rolled his eyes. I know what that's like. It's easy to disappoint a pony who has high standards. Quillwing leaned forward as she put her forehoofs on the knees of her hind legs. While she did that, she put her forehoofs on the knees of her hind legs. So, like this. Yeah, it's an office chair, his family is wealthy and he uses that seat a lot while he studies. Not a tear friendly. Well, to be realistic right here, most of the official seatings are not comfortable. If you are in high standards, let's just say the official Japanese sitting. When you are sitting like this, on your knees, it's definitely not tear friendly either. Let's just say it like that. You have to prove that you are wealthy, you have high standards, and you can withstand any pain just to look cool. With that canon, you can think that the seat does have a hole or tail. For tail, okay. Can you imagine how non-practical that would be? Yeah, it would be. A little bit, but let's just say it like this, Artemis. He was used to this. He probably was really uncomfortable in the beginning. At least for, let's say, the first 3 years. He was really uncomfortable doing this. But his father insisted that he has to sit like this. Because he is a high-mannered pony. And he has to show others that he is indeed a royalty. Let's just say it like that. It's a little weird for horses, but we've seen some upright, such as yep. So this is what I think of this, that not every pony sits like this, only the high-end ponies, who are actually a little bit richer than the other. And probably the others who don't have seats, who are not rich, a little bit poor, as they mentioned, they are more comfortable with their seatings. Nobility, yep. They got high standards. Take some water. Good suggestion. We are nearly the end, by the way. Just a second. There you go. There is my water. Water sipping. But yeah, we went off topic right here with the chair. We are about to see why he is disappointed with his cousin. I wasn't gone for so long. But I can wait for the answer. I think that I should have read the prologue. It seems fundamental. Yeah. I can TLDR the prologue for you, but it would be better if you read it for you. Okay, let's continue. Should we? It's easy to disappoint a pony who has high standards. That's where we were. Storming leaned forward as she put her forearms on her knees of her hind legs. While she did that, she asked in a mystified tone. Now that pose would be really hard to do for a pony. What exactly did your uncle do to disappoint your father? By all accounts that I heard of, your uncle is one of the most powerful unicorns out there. Seems to me your father would have looked up to his brother for that unless he was jealous? But you didn't say he was jealous of his brother, just disappointed. That implies he let down your father somehow, so what happened between them? We are both technically amateurs, like me, at reading. Quill has his elbow on the left arm of his chair, and settled his left cheek on his left hoof as he said. You might find it strange to believe, but that uncle of mine, you know, the one you claim is the most powerful unicorn, is actually has Forsaken magic. To some pony like my father, that would also imply forsaking the unicorn race as well. Wow, okay. Then how is he the most powerful unicorn if he is not using magic anymore? Something did indeed look taken aback. What? Why? How? She asked, flabbergasted. My uncle, Ramadan Mesmer? Ramadan Mesmer? I'm trying to find the pun in the name, but there is probably none. Seems to have abandoned the ways of my family. Instead of instead embrace the Espony culture. He is literally out there right now, living off and growing a farm. Why is there... Why is this here? I don't know why this is here. It offends my father's sensibilities to so many levels. Maybe that's why he is so hard on me. I think he is looking at me as the last hope of preserving our family's legacy. Which is funny because he is gonna forsake his unicorn legacy as well and he's gonna go flying. Which is mostly just wizardry and scholar, right? Stumping checked. Quill nodded. Right. Our family are also record keepers of history. He is named Otto Scroll, isn't he? And he named me Quill Scroll. Stumping squinted in confusion. What if your uncle is as talented as most ponies say? Why would he abandon magic and live as a pony? Quill shook his head as he said, I don't know. That's actually one of the things I had planned to ask him when I visit him and his family. Personally, I'm not revolted by his choice of lifestyle, but I'm confused and intrigued. There must be a reason for his decision. I suspect it's love for the one he married, but his tactics seem a little too extreme, considering the degree of talent he actually has. To go from one extreme to the other begs a lot of questions. I doubt my father knows the answer to that question either, but unlike me, I think he's not even curious. My father probably can't get past the feeling of being abandoned, hence the reason he's so hard on me. And now, here's some headcanon time, some probably foreshadowing. I don't know if it's gonna be true, probably not, but his uncle probably saw something that he is seeing that is a little bit too much to handle for a unicorn. Nightmaring. When you have too much power, it's hard to control. Either that, or she actually lost his powers, and he just says that, "Oh, I abandoned my powers. I abandoned unicornness." And he just actually lost it. One of the both. You don't just stop using your powers if you are not shocked or if you didn't lose them. There is no other choice, right? The Pony of Shadows? Maybe. Power and magic are not the same. If his nobility, he can do things the most powerful wizard could never do. That's true. And yes, this is the delay. Stumping shook her head and then said, "That just makes things more confusing. You claim that your father is disappointed in his brother's lifestyle choices, so why is he sending you to visit him? By all accounts, he could be spending all of his resources to keep you from his brother." I will see, okay. No spoilers. You just... little theories. Quill's eyes drifted up to gaze at the ceiling. Well, my father claims it's because he's going to be too busy next week to take care of me. From what I can tell, that part is true at least. There are midterms coming up, so he will have a lot of assignments to grade. Oh yes, he is a teacher. I forgot that part. Not all of it is on paper either. Since the school is testing magical ability, he would have to be there in person to personally witness the performances of his students, one by one. And they are using illumination spells as well to show that they are using the spell. Quill turned his chair towards his desk. and then from there, twisted it from side to side twistfully. I mean, I was not expecting getting some interesting side backstory about uncle of the father of the protagonist. Yeah, now I'm confused who is the real protagonist. We don't know yet. Because in the beginning I thought it was gonna be the daughter. But then now it twisted to the father, and now we are talking about the father of the father, and we switched it to the uncle now. So there are more protagonists of this story than we would actually know. By the way, the description says otherwise, that none of these are actually protagonists. So it's gonna be strange. I get that part, but the thing I don't understand is, well, our family is rich. Father could just hire a tutor to take care of me and see to my studies. Quill tapped his red quill on his lips, again thoughtfully. I know my father can afford it, and his history would suggest he should be inclined to do so. He always rags on me to pursue my studies very seriously. Sending me to visit my uncle instead is the last thing I would have expected him to do. Quill's right eye shifted right to the stabbing. Right at stabbing. It's the right eye this time. If you ever master this chapter, please just remove all the references to chairs. That cracked me up a little bit. My best guess is that this might have something to do with a promise he made to his wife and my mother. Or wait, your father's wife is not your mother? What? Or you mean his uncle's wife? This wording is strange. My best guess is this might have something to do with the promise he made to his uncle's wife and my mother. Or it might have something to do with the promise he made to his brother. As I said before, he doesn't hate his brother. On some level, I'm pretty sure he loves his brother too. It's just that he hates the choices my uncle made recently. Farnis was right, Princess Twilight is weird. Oh yes, this is the end of the chapter. And what about you then? Are you looking forward to the trip? Sturming asked curiously. Quill's right eye looked forward again. For my part? Yes. This will give me a break from my studies, and also give me an opportunity to ask my uncle. What the hey is going on between him and his brother? It shocks me that my father didn't even insist I bring homework assignments on this trip. The way he is acting suggests he really wants me to focus my attention on the visit itself instead. No, he's talking about Silver Shine, Quill's mother, Naruto's wife. Wait, so... No, okay, I'm confused now. So, did Arthur remarry someone? Because Arthur is... is Quill's mother. No, Arthur is Quill's father, and his wife should be his mother, unless he remarried someone else. And he just calls him, oh, his wife. He's not my mother, he's just my father's wife. Is that the case here? Otto did not remarry. He is a widow, so Otto doesn't have a wife. So who is this wife right here? Or you are saying these two are the same, right? You mean, oh, to his wife and my mother. No, this part is enough. To my mother. You need to remove this part because it's confusing. Silvershine wanted Otto to get along with his brother and to let Quill continue to hang out with his brother. Yeah, I get that, but this part. This pose is referring to Silvershine, right? His wife is Silvershine and my mother is Silvershine as well. As the same character. Yeah, you need to delete this part. That. And it would be perfect. To my mother. No one or no pony refers to their mother as my father's wife. Reference list of characters after each chapter. So it's confusing for readers, they can check if after finishing it. Adding the new ones, okay. Now that is discussed, that my best guess is this might have something to do with the promise he made to his wife and my mother. Made to my mother, that's all. Or it might have been something to do with the promise he made to his brother. Okay. Also this part. They are acting like chameleons. Their left eye is looking left and their right eye is looking forward, and they are squinting their eyes. It's like all their eyes are going every direction. I'm just joking, by the way. His right eye looked forward again. Only his right eye. For my part, yes. This will give me a break from my studies, and also give me an opportunity to ask my uncle what the hey is going on between him and his brother. It shocks me that my father didn't even insist I bring homework assignments on this trip. The way he's acting suggests he really wants me to focus my attention on the visit itself instead. Family is very important, Starving said. Maybe that's all there is to it. Your father may not agree with your brother's recent choices, but he is still family. I think he wants you to get to know his brother regardless of the choices he made in life. Perhaps deep down, your father really isn't all that upset about his brother. Tell you what though, I'm curious too now. If you actually do find out why your uncle, one of the most powerful unicorns in all Equestria, in our current age, suddenly decided to abandon magic in favor of living as a nurse pony on a farm. What a long sentence. You tell me too, alright? Wait, okay, so... This is one sentence. How can I accept it? They are related to the... Wait, that's the reason he was not accepted to the Wonderbolts. Maybe. Unless it's a secret, then in that case, all you have to do is tell me the fact that it's a secret. I won't pursue that line of questioning any further if you tell me that. Sure you won't. Like you didn't grab this scroll away from me, right? Quill told that for a few seconds, then looked at Selving and nodded. Deal. And that is the end of chapter 1. That means chapter 2 is gonna be all about this trip, and it's gonna be about why his uncle left or rejected unicorn powers, basically. That was a long reading. That was around 2 hours. So yeah, it was fun. We found some lines that could make a little bit of difference, that can be changed, but it was all fun. It started off a little bit weak, but at the end it started to become more interesting, just like all the books ever existed, that they are starting with a little bit of complication and then we will get invested in the story. But still, nothing happened. The only thing that is a little bit confusing is jumping back and forth between the present and the past, and not saying when we are at the present. I'm not saying you should add quote marks, you should add something to present that this is the present. Like, this is not the present right here. Let's just say, I can't click on it. This should be in bold or something like that. 3 hours, not bad. Under 3 hours. Yeah, what? There's still some lines that can be changed. I don't mind the chairs. I have to tell you. I don't mind it because they are high-end ponies. They need to be uncomfortable to show their high-endness. But yeah, you need, I don't know, you definitely need to mark that this is the past and this is the present. This chapter established Quill's desire to fly. He made scroll with the same title as the book. Yes, and he will visit his uncle in the last chapter. Also, they have a relative. Stormwing has an uncle who has the same name, and we will probably see him as well. And we learned that Skull is wealthy, Otto is strict, and Quill's mother is dead. And it was Silver Shine. I have to add this here. Just a second. I have a picture of Silver Shine right here. If I can find it. There you go. You can see it. Let me make this smaller. There you go. That's Silver Shine. I know that's the dragon. It's Silver at a loss. The one I'm hunting in Monster Hunter World right now. Can accept the chair he used as a noble quirk, but only is clearly established as such. It has to be not just uncomfortable, but outright obtuse, like Fang Monaco today. Hey, some ponies actually wear miracles in the present day My Little Pony universe as well. And yes, I was just kidding. I don't have a picture of Silver Shine. I obviously didn't know about Silver Shine before this. Before I had this. How would I have a picture of her? But yeah, it was fun. And I didn't make so much problems. Especially among the social elite. But yeah, it's 11:38 for me. I hope you like this little reading session. It was longer than I expected, by the way. But as I was wondering about big super high society, like Fancy Pants. Yeah, they are in a super high society. It was stated in the first parts that he is actually a teacher in the gifted school. I don't know the name of it. The magic school. As I said, tomorrow I will not be streaming. I will not do this. But on Wednesday and on Friday at the same time I will do it as well. I don't know if you will be able to get it because, as you stated, it is 1 AM when I start for you. That's really bad, but sadly I'm gonna go to work in an hour, so I can't do anything else. Silverhorn Academy, that's it. Silverhorn Academy. Silver Shine. I'm seeing a connection here. So it is the same time as today? Yes, it is gonna be the same time as today, and it is gonna be the next day after tomorrow. Wednesday and Friday. Just because tomorrow and on Thursday I wanna record something, of course, for YouTube as well. Or maybe sleep. I don't know how tired I will be after work. Because I get home at around 10 PM. No, 11 PM. For you it's fine, okay. What? Crepuscular nocturnal, sleep at afternoon. You are an owl. Owls just didn't die, it just turned into alchemist. I'm sorry, I had to say that. But now I'm gonna leave. I am gonna eat before leaving. And obviously I'm gonna have a shower because I might smell a little bit. But thank you all for coming here and chatting with me. I hope you are able to fix what is needed to be fixed, and I hope you will get some building construction. That's not what I wanted to say. Some building criticism from us. More like a bad. Did you post like your own video? This is gonna be available after this is end. YouTube is automatically gonna save it. If not, I still recorded most of it. So I have this right here. You can see the picture in the picture. You can see I have both the stream and the recording option on. So if YouTube in some for some reason it's not saving it, I can still upload it. It would be better for him to read a few chapters before reacting to his own reading. Don't worry, as I said, it will be up right after. You don't need to do that. It's fine if I have the link for you. That's more than enough. But now I'm really gonna go. Thank you all for being here and see you next time. And I just hit my microphone with my hand. But bye bye. Take care. And have a good night, or day, or afternoon, or whatever it is for you. See you next time. Okay, I will do that. I'm not gone yet.